Gary, feel free to, chime in. This is, how I roll more informally, but I always love a good origin story and to really like to start at the beginning for as much context as possible. So if you guys don't mind, if you could just kind of give us the quick, 60-second TLDR of the CryptoLink and, how the team kind of came together.
Yeah, sure thing. So CryptoLink came together as a project back in February 2nd, 2022. And our main goal has been, and always has been, to break down the barriers between the blockchains. Now, there was a problem in the space, and there still is a problem in the space, and that's a problem of overall interoperability, where it's hard to transfer value from chain to chain. And Atlas, our founder and lead developer, he got fed up with the countless bridge hacks and the overall just horrendous experience that bridging is and was 18 months ago, and decided to create a solution for that. And that solution is a cross-chain messaging layer that can send any form of data between the chains, where we developed this and really released it on February 2nd, which is what our launch was. And we've been going strong for about a year now. And what we do is we connect the blockchains through call it a token bridge. But what we're building out is a cross-chain any-to-any swap DEX that's going to be able to swap any token on one blockchain for any token on another blockchain. Now, I got started with CryptoLink back around the beginning. We were actually named something else. We were named Printer Financial, and we have rebranded several months ago. My name is Cletus. I'm the COO at CryptoLink, and I've been here for several months. And I guess my background in the crypto space is I've been here for around 3 years or so, just in general crypto, and I've been in CryptoLink since about the inception. My personal background is in engineering. I'm an electrical engineer by trade, so I'm a little bit more on the technical side of things. I've got experience in everything from automotive, defense, power, financial estimating for solar fields around the United States and around the world. And at CryptoLink, I pretty much do a little bit of everything, where it's the day-to-day operations, where it's partnerships, pursuits, sometimes sending out tweets, but that's mainly for Wally. And yeah, just kind of keeping the general lights on over for the operations side of things. But I'll go ahead and pass it off over to you, Wally.
Yeah, Wally, CMO over at CryptoLink. I got involved. Cletus got me involved, actually. Late April, I'm going to say early May. Not the best time to get involved in crypto at all, but I ended up taking the reins with the media stuff at the time, Printer, because nobody was really doing it. There was a lot of room to grow in terms of media, social media content, and just marketing in general. So I kind of took the reins on it just for a side gig, and next thing you know, one thing turned to another. And I was helping Cletus and Atlas with the rebrand of the protocol and kind of moving forward as a member of the executive team. But yeah, all things that I handle, anything related to social media content, video content, short form and long form, written content, really anything that pertains to marketing or partnerships, that kind of falls in my wheelhouse. And then, like Cletus has said before, I kind of also tag team any other operation stuff he needs help with.
Amazing. So essentially all of the things.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, when you really break it down, it's like, we all have our titles, but we are a 5 or 6 man wrecking crew. So it's when you're only a 6 man wrecking crew, there's a lot of crossover.
Yep.
I totally
numerous hats.
Yeah, every hat except for the dev hat, basically, is kind of what Cletus and I do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that is one hat that will not be putting on. Save that for the professionals over there.
Oh, yes. And shout out to the devs. And yeah, I can't even enter that room, let alone trying to sit in the seat in the room. So I want to just quickly take a step back onto something you guys said. We get into this, in messaging and conversations, in our internal teams, we use all the verbiage and vernacular, and while you probably, this is on your radar too, when we're talking about what we're doing internally to the masses, to the Twitterverse to the Instagram or whatever, sometimes we really have to dumb things down a little bit and just kind of simplify it. And it's hard for people to get out of their own way like that. So you mentioned that CryptoLink was created to break down the barriers from going chain to chain. So can you just quickly explain to a first grader what does that word bridging actually mean, and what are the barriers that you were talking about among that?
Yeah, so I'll lead off because I think I have an interesting bit to talk about, maybe our struggle in terms of marketing it, because I think there's a really good point to be made there, and then I'll let Cletus kind of take over in terms of breaking down exactly what we do. But I do think you bring up a really interesting point. So you talk about what is bridging and what does bridging do, right? Well, bridging is transferring data, value, any sort of data cross-chain between the two blockchains that you're trying to be on, right? From one chain to another chain. Everyone in here, I'm assuming, understands how blockchains work. They work linearly parallel with each other. They don't intersect. They don't cross. They can't talk to each other, or at least most of them cannot. And there was a huge problem in that space. And there's a huge problem with security and speed specifically in the bridging space. And the big one over the summer that we saw was security. We saw lots of bridge hacks, so many of them. And we'll talk about why we're different, why we cannot be hacked in the same way that any of the other traditional bridges can be hacked. But we also found that as a massive barrier to marketing. And when you say dumbing it down and really breaking it down to people, that was actually a larger hurdle than you'd think, because internally we were able to talk about all the cool things that the tech does and the amazing speed and security that we offer and how it does that. But really to the public at the time, going around doing AMAs about, hey, we're this new innovative bridge, using that word bridge was not quite the most attractive thing to people. And you actually saw a lot of ears turn off as soon as the word bridge was spoken. So really what we are is we're a cross-chain interoperability protocol. That's really wordy. What we can do is we're your cross-chain solution for any of your problems, and give us a cross-chain problem, we have the solution for it somewhere in our ecosystem. That's the best way I can explain it, and then I'll let Cletus kind of give a little bit more of the specifics.
Yeah, sure thing. Now, we have developed, as Wally stated, we're a cross-chain interoperability protocol. And really, at the core of what we do is we've created this cross-chain messaging system that can send any form of data between the blockchains in a quick, secure, trustless, and a decentralized manner, where the foundation of what we do is it's called TBAS, or Trustless Bridging as a Service. TBAS is this cross-chain messaging layer that we have developed. And we offer this to other projects, whether that be token projects or NFT projects, any form of Web3 project out there that wants to bring their tokens, NFTs cross-chain, or possibly even Web2 projects that want to be able to send either a cross-chain notification or a text messages cross-chain. Any form of data, we can package that up and send that cross-chain with our messaging layer. Now, one of the things that we've developed, and we're calling this is our flagship product, is a cross-chain any-to-any swap DEX, where anyone in DeFi, or really just anyone at all, will be able to go to our platform and be able to swap any token on one blockchain for any token on another blockchain. So, for example, if someone had the Sphere token on Polygon, and maybe they want to get into the Cake token on BSC, on the Binance Smart Chain, and they're going to have to, traditionally, they would need to make a bunch of swaps, a whole bunch of different contract interactions, find a bridge, and that overall process is very hard, especially for new DeFi users in the space, or just new people kind of dipping their feet into DeFi. And what we do, to boil it all down, is we make that process easy, where all those swaps can all be done on the CryptoLink platform, all in one click, as fast as the blockchain can go. Where when I say as fast as the blockchain can go, I mean between 3 and 30 seconds. Most of our cross-chain swaps happen faster than you can switch chains in your MetaMask. And we're very, very proud about that. We have not found anyone else in this space, or even heard of anyone else in this space, who can remotely come close to those types of speeds.
That's amazing. And I thank you for the very thorough articulation, because, I was following along, and there is a lot of friction out there, and I think the people that are going to win are going to, like you guys, just making it more seamless, just making it easier on the end user to, you know, interact and to transact. So hats off to you. Just out of curiosity, you know, if a 10 is the easiest, you know, most frictionless process, like 10 is obviously what you're striving for, and 1 is, you know, anyone coming in for the first time, a lot of friction, not knowing what to do. Where do you guys see yourselves on that scale as far as your product now? If it maybe it is a 10, I don't know. I know all companies are striving towards something, so I'm just curious where you are now as opposed to, you know, where you want to go in the future with your user experience.
Oh, that's an interesting question. Now, we've never been asked that one before. I would say right now we are, because of the ease of the bridge, and I would say that because of how fast the bridge is now, and the fact that our MVP, we actually don't take any fees, so it is free. So there's a weird caveat there. For the last year, we've had that bridge available for free because of speed, but because it's not all in one click. I'll give it like a 4 or 5. It's better than your average bridge because of the speed and the security, but it's not quite there fully interoperable yet. What we have on the website right now, what we'll be launching in the next couple of weeks when we launch the any to any, I personally think I'll give it an 8 because we're not on non-EVM yet. But once we get to non-EVM, then I'll give it a 10, right? Or once we're on every chain. You know, like you said, we're always striving for a 10. Will we ever be a 10? That is probably not possible, just because that would require you, I mean, realistically in my head, I'm thinking, okay, to be a 10, you'd have to connect every single blockchain and network that is in quote unquote Web3 that, you know, at all times. That would be hard because there's always new ones popping up and old ones dying and things like that. But I would say, yeah, that's our 10 that we're shooting for. And then I think what we're actually launching is like a 7 or an 8, right? Because it's these 9 EVM chains. You don't see anything like it quite yet. Once we go non-EVM, I think we make that jump to 9, so to speak.
Yeah, and Wally, I think you bring up a really good point. Is that for the past year or so, since our launch last February, we have had we call it a demo or our version 1. Which, if you're to go to the CryptoLink.tech website right now, you will see that we do have this version 1, and all this really is it's a demo to show our community and to show new users how fast our bridging speeds are. Where at the launch of the cross-chain to any swap DEX, what's going to happen is that is all going to change, where our MVP is going to be upgraded from that version 1 to that version 3, making it significantly more interoperable, where, you know, if you wanted to swap, I guess at first what it's going to be is any native to any native, where by native I mean the native gas token on that blockchain. So, and then probably within a little bit from there, we're going to start whitelisting other tokens and other projects on that DEX, and then work with our cross-chain DEX aggregator partners to really fully make that an any-to-any type solution. So yeah, as Wally was saying, we strive to be 10, and we'll always strive to hit that 10 mark. When we first are on the EVM chains, that's good. But as we continue to grow and continue to expand and hit those non-EVM chains like Cardano and Solana, that's when we really start to see that those numbers even go up higher to, you know, 9 and approach that perfect 10 score that everyone strives to be at.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. It's always interesting to, you know, self-reflect, especially as a whole ecosystem and company. Gary, I was hoping I'd bring you in here. I'm just curious from your purview, like as a founder of Gauss, what did you see in what CryptoLink was doing that was attractive to you and wanting to partner with them?
So their solutions, I don't want to say interesting or novel, but those might be the best words I can come up with at the moment. They're technically awesome in what they're doing, right? It is a problem. Bridging is a problem. It's something that scares the shit out of us, to be perfectly frank, and should concern most people in this space. So what they're building and their approach is the really interesting part to me. So their team's awesome too. I talk to their team every week. We actually have a call after this.
We do,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, we do.
Yeah, we have weekly calls. Their team's amazing. Atlas is a phenomenal developer. I know Austin, appreciates that technical proficiency as well.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, feel free to just have the call right here in this room, for content purposes.
Fortunately,
Little behind the
there's too
scenes.
much alpha. They know a bit too much about stuff, and we know a bit too much about their stuff.
There was some paperwork signed. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have a great question for him today that, I can't really ask them here.
Well, we're excited now.
So
yeah, and I get to tell them some other cool stuff that they get. NDAs get alpha.
Yeah, facts.
Exactly. So maybe we should call this AMA with an asterisk with CryptoLink, because we can't ask everything here.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. So I personally, and maybe I'm getting a little selfish here, I never really explored, I just kind of stayed in my lane when it comes to my wallet and my personal behaviors on chain. I never really got into the, going cross chain with everything. So could you just kind of humor us, and maybe this will make a great piece of content. What are some of the kinds of things? I know you mentioned scams, cross-bridge scams. What's happening during this process for someone that's not educated, or, what's going wrong?
Yeah. So the traditional bridging infrastructure that we see today uses something that we call bridging liquidity pools. And there's been countless hacks on these bridging liquidity pools in the past 18, 20 months, even up to 2 years, as far back as you really look. And you can go ahead and look at DeFi Llama right now. And, DeFi Llama actually just set up this new tab that users can go ahead and look at the different types of exploits. And what you'll notice is that a lot of these exploits are bridging exploits, where they relate to those bridging liquidity pools. And of course, some of them are social engineering hacks. Some of them, they are just standard protocol hacks, but a lot of them are bridging liquidity pool hacks. And what CryptoLink does is we don't have these bridging liquidity pools. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that we only use DEX liquidity pools, where our paper token is this cross-chain token that we send across the blockchains. And the way that we do this is in a mint and burn method, where the paper token is minted, or it's burned on the source chain and then minted on the destination chain. So if someone wanted to send Matic to Phantom, for example, and they had Matic, they would swap, or on our cross-chain DEX, the way that it would work is that they would swap Matic for paper, and then paper would be burnt on the Polygon blockchain, and then minted on the Phantom blockchain, and then go ahead and be swapped for the FTM coin. Now, why would somebody do this? They would do it because they want to either get into another project on that Phantom blockchain, or, another example would be Gauss. Someone was coming from Polygon, and there's a whole bunch of cool projects that they know and like that are launching on Gauss, and they want to get into that ecosystem. The best way to do so is through our cross-chain any-to-any swap DEX, where, they could swap directly for that token of that project that they want to get into directly from our platform, one click, and it would all happen nearly instantaneously, or as fast as the blockchains can go.
So that, to go back to your question, Rob, that's another one of those things. One of the others in this space is a protocol called Stargate, I believe, and they're stable to stable, right? That's their thing. The idea of a native to native cross-chain bridge, where you can go from Matic to Gang, or Phantom to Gang, or Gang to any of the other chains that any communicates with, interoperates with, that is really, really appealing to us. And having a safe, secure bridge is remarkably important. The only other one, for example, we're looking at the moment is USDC, right? USDC is a cross-chain stablecoin. To put that into perspective, into how paranoid we are with, bridging, period. But we also see the necessity of cross-chain interoperability. So
Yeah,
definitely
and
looking forward
to touch a bit more about our security, and I don't think we've mentioned this yet, is we secure our network through a series of validator nodes, or we call them bridge miner validator nodes. And essentially what these are is it's a P2P decentralized network of validators that go ahead and secure our cross-chain transactions by attesting those transactions as they occur in real time, to be able to fully take the trust out of any centralized entity and make bridging 100% fully trustless in that matter. And there's 4 different layers as to how we do our decentralization, where the first layer of these bridge miner validator nodes is the CryptoLink validators. So we run our own validators, but the second layer is through industry leaders, so other projects that want to validate transactions on our bridge. They can go ahead and do so for no cost, no reward, and be a part of our overall decentralization. The third layer is through TBAS, or Trustless Bridging as a Service, projects that we have on that are using our technology for maybe a cross-chain NFT collection or something. They would also run these validator nodes to be able to help secure our own network, and that would also help secure their network too, because they're using our bridging infrastructure for that. And lastly, our proof of stake layer is our main decentralization layer, where we are onboarding other either projects or whales or anybody else in the space that wants to run a miner. We're giving away 20% of all of our DEX revenue to this proof of stake miner pool, where someone, if they want to stake, they would stake to this pool and they would earn revenue directly off the top of the DEX in blockchain native gas coins. So whatever chain that they're validating on, they would receive those funds back in that coin. Now, if they're validating on Polygon, they'd receive back Matic. If they're validating on Gauss, they would get back Gang. And this is one way that we truly decentralize our network in that aspect, where all these different validators are working together to make sure that our network is 100% decentralized, to the point where CryptoLink can't look up and say, hey, well, we see a bunch of transactions, flowing through our system, and we're going to halt that. We can't do that. We can't take someone else's transaction because of our validator node network. And we're very, very proud about that. It is the utmost importance to us and what we do.
Atlas was hinting that there's some alpha. Is this a good time to segue into that? Is that the alpha he's referring to about the bridge mining?
I think so. I think this is a perfect time to segue into that.
Oh,
well, go for it.
We're all here for it.
Yeah, how do we want to get into that, Cletus? Do you want to just break the news? You want to just say it? Yeah.
I guess so.
It is kind of a big deal. It's the first time we're going to be doing anything like this, so.
Yeah.
Alpha alert. I don't have
alert.
This is a big deal, actually. Yeah, because this was something that Atlas had kind of come up with fairly recently. Yeah. Do you want to chat about bridge miners first, and then we can do the ink thing? I guess bridge miners on Gauss, and talk about that, and then we can talk about NFTs. Perfect. Okay. Cletus, you want to open it up with the bridge miners, and then we can chat about, I guess, ink and NFTs and all that stuff.
Yeah. So we are opening up the pools for the bridge miners on Gauss to start opening up reservations for those. And with that, we're working together with Gary and the rest of the Gauss team to add an additional incentive for bridge miners on the Gauss blockchain. And I guess, Gary, if you want to get into a little bit about that additional incentive, besides for that, and I want to take a step back. This is in addition to the 20% off, or to the 20% in revenue directly off the top of the DEX that these bridge miners would typically get. This is in addition to that.
Yeah. So, there's some perks to being a protocol, a layer one that CryptoLink is working with. We do have to distribute our native coin. So part of what we're doing with CryptoLink to further incentivize some of the early bridge miners on Gauss, who are functionally providing liquidity in our ecosystem as well, is we're taking 120,000 gang to start and distributing that to the miners themselves over 12 months. So I think that's, a solid incentive and something, it's a first for CryptoLink, working with, us as a protocol and being able to offer that extra incentive. So I think it's pretty cool and should be awesome. Oh, and I'll add in that we have discussed that that's the number to start, not promising that it'll go higher, but there is the possibility that if we get 3 or 4 miners pretty quick and we're looking at 5, 6 miners, that we can start increasing that incentive pool. That's something we're going to work closely with the CryptoLink team on. So there's that.
Absolutely.
I think that qualifies as alpha.
That does qualify as alpha.
Yeah, that's huge. I know. Oh, Ferret's here. I didn't see when he snuck in here. I don't know if he heard alpha through the ether. Like
across the universe.
Ferret senses were tingling. I heard alpha somewhere. I must be there. So that's not the only alpha we're here to drop either. So anybody who is familiar with our ecosystem knows that we have our cross-chain Cosmonaut NFTs that are on our decks. They also offer discounts on T-Baz. They're stackable up to 100%. Very cool. They're all cross-chain, bridgeable to any of the chains we're on. We will be launching our final edition to that series on the Gauss chain. So we have those NFTs already made. The art is done. There may or may not be a ferret involved somewhere. And as you may know, the NFTs have to be activated with ink. And so we are going to be doing a very interesting thing with ink from now on, where starting with Gauss, and we're going to consider it for chains moving forward. I don't want to box this in and say we are going to do it for every chain moving forward, because I know we're not doing more NFTs, but we may do this with ink moving forward. We are going to allow a one-time bridge of your ink from any chain you want that you have ink on right now on CryptoLink over to Gauss being the new chain. So you won't be able to bridge it to any of our existing chains, but you will be able to, for a short period of time, take some of your ink, bridge it over to Gauss if you want ink on Gauss, because you'll be able to put it in the ink LP on Gauss, get that 5% back, of our revenue for the ink. And then you'll also be able to activate your NFTs with that ink from Gauss. So this is something that we've never done before. We've always said we will never make ink bridgeable. Ink is not a bridging token. This is a big deal for our ecosystem. This is something our community's been asking for a while. So we wanted to kind of toss a bone there, give people an opportunity to get ink on different chains. And we do need a way to activate those NFTs. So there will be Gauss ink if you want there to be Gauss ink. So that's our other bit of alpha there for everybody.
1 second, Panda, can you give Atlas and Cletus and Wally permissions to post images and things in stage QA and board?
Ooh,
I think
yes.
the graphics are becoming live. Cletus has one.
I have graphics. I have some. I know that Atlas has a decent amount that he's looking to share. I have one graphic in particular that breaks down the NFT discounts and the more specific tailored Gauss NFT discounts and incentives once we launch the NFT collection on Gauss. And for those of you proud, that the launch date for that will be within a few days of the Gauss mainnet launch. Once we are right, once Gauss is launched and we're coordinating with that, we hope to get this out on the Gauss mainnet as soon as possible in that regard, to be able to have that first NFT collection on your guys' chain. And we're very, very excited about that.
Yeah, we're excited too. It's pretty awesome.
Do we want to drop should we drop one of the NFTs in there as like a...
Let's see.
Trying to copy and paste the article or the screenshot here.
Can you post them now, Atlas?
Because I have the top tier ferret. That's fair. That's Ferret's homemade ferret NFT. That's not official. I do have to put that out there to the people. Not quite official. What's this thing? No. Oh, where did you get that, Ferret?
Ferret can post in there.
Okay, where did you get that? All right, well, Ferret did it for me. So that is one of our top tier NFTs, there is the homage to the great and whimsical ferret that everybody knows.
All right, let's see if this works. Try again, Atlas.
Okay, it just worked for me. Let me go
Hey,
ahead
there we
and
go. Awesome. There we go, Atlas.
this one.
Perfect. Oh, perfect. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so what I just posted here in the stage Q&A tab is an infographic showing a little bit about the NFTs that we'll be launching and those incentives for each one of the as the mints continue to get taken up. Now, for those of you guys who don't know about the cross-chain cosmonauts NFT collection that CryptoLink has, what these NFTs do is they give discounts on our any-to-any swap decks. And this is cool because they're stackable discounts. These NFTs can be stacked in order to get 100% off of our DEX fees on any chain. Now, the way that it works is that if you hold an NFT on that source chain that you're bridging from, you get those transactions. But if that NFT is on another chain, then all you need to do is just bridge the NFT to that source chain that you plan on making that transaction, and you will have those cross-chain discounts. So the NFT collection itself is cross-chain, where the NFTs can be bridged across any chain that you'd like them to be on and be able to receive those discounts. And in addition to the cross-chain discounts that the NFTs give, they also give discounts on TBAS, or Trustless Bridging as a Service. So for any project out there that wants to take their tokens or NFTs or send data cross-chain, they could then acquire these NFTs to be able to get a cheaper fee for everything cross-chain, for our cross-chain messaging layer. We also have other aspects to these NFTs as well. Wally he's coined it the cross-chain wars, where NFTs, the more that they are bridged around, the more possibility for an airdrop that they will receive. Now, we've already done our first cross-chain war, as what you can think of it, where the first person to mint one of our elusive tiers of NFTs got a Node Runner Genesis DAG tier node, or that NFT. So we airdrop our NFT holders with other NFTs and tokens for passive income if they win these certain rewards that we put out. There's 3 separate tiers to our NFTs. The first tier is called Spacebound, where Spacebound, there's 80 mints in that given tier, and that first tier gives 20% off of our DEX fees. Our second tier is called Solar Traveler. This gives 40% off of our DEX fees, and it gives a 1-month membership to Cardinal House. So if you guys are familiar with Cardinal House, probably a lot of you guys are, since we're in that same kind of niche corner of DeFi, but they're an AMA house, and they do a very, very good job over there. Our second tier of NFT gives 1-month membership to them. And our third tier, which is the Interdimensional Explorer, that's that ferret NFT with the lasers coming out of it. There's different types. There's one's a ferret and one is the Einstein, but that gives 80% off of the DEX fees and a 3-month membership to Cardinal House and it's on TBAS. So I know that was a lot of information, but there's a lot of utility that these NFTs give, and we want to make that available to everyone in the Gauss ecosystem, while also incentivizing that even further to be able to help distribute Gang out to those NFT holders.
You guys really did a nice job putting all this together. I didn't even know there's alpha being dropped here today. Here I am thinking we're just doing a nice AMA, gonna meet the guys, chop it up a little bit, and you guys come with this train, and graphics makes it real. It's one thing to just drop a little alpha, but to have this roll out, this is awesome. This is really awesome.
Yeah. So did you want to talk about the extra incentives for the cosmonauts on Gauss? You dropped the image, Cletus, but you didn't go over it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So for the first 40 NFTs that that are minted on Gauss. Those are going to be $50 off, and 150 gang is going to be allocated towards those NFT people who are acquiring those NFTs. Now, the next 10 NFTs in that are going to be just given away. Those are given away to the iron tier NFT holders. Your I believe that's your Ferro NFT holders, right?
Yeah,
Gary?
Ferro colored iron tier.
Mm-hmm. And then the last 50 of the CCC NFTs will be allocated 100 of the gang token.
Yep. And there's how many total in the collection per chain?
There's only 100 total NFTs per chain. So this is a very rare collection where it's very scarce in that sense. It's not your typical NFT collection where you have a few thousand NFTs or several dozen and 1,000. Like this is very, very limited where there's only 100 NFTs per chain. And for a total of only 1,000 NFTs in the entire ecosystem, but the Gauss specific NFTs, there's only 100 of them. And I might add that the art for them is the most unique and the most variable out of all of our NFTs from the different chains that we're on. Every chain kind of has an overall theme to it. Like Matic, for example, I think there's like a Matic ape, where on the Gauss blockchain, things are a bit different. We had some inspiration from a few of your community members, and Gary, we chatted back and forth a lot about what we wanted the NFTs to look like. And the Gauss NFTs, they have props. They really illustrate the not only like a science and technology, but like a business and art and musical sense to the what the chain is bringing. And it's really cool.
It was a fun process.
It was an iterative process, and it was a fun one. So there's both humans and different animals there.
And I guess I want to point out, Atlas made the point, I think we've said it once here as well, but once we launch the Gauss NFTs, there will not be any more NFTs. So when we get to Arbitrum or Optimism or Tron or any of these other chains, they are not getting NFTs. You'll be able to bridge your NFTs there, but they are not getting their own NFTs. So Gauss will be the last 100 added to the ecosystem, and that will be it. Yeah,
that's awesome. This is super exciting. Is this cool to be tweeted and blasted out? I mean, there's a lot here, and shout out to Atlas, who's answering a bunch of questions in stage QA. Do you guys have a plan to blast this, or can we share this?
Yeah, we are. I would say you're more than welcome to share it. I mean, we'll be posting it as well, all this stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, feel free to share. Absolutely, get the word out. Bridge miners and NFTs both. Yeah, anything that we've said in here, I think is definitely fair game to post. Cletus, am I right on that one?
Yep, 100%. Everything discussed in here is fair game. It's all out now. All the alpha has been dropped and ready to be announced now. Or for now.
Yeah, for now. Of course, there's always more alpha. Yeah, but we're, all in all, we're very excited to be heading over to Gauss and to be, the first or one of the only two, first bridges over there. Kind of, Gary putting us up in the, the good graces of the USDC, crowd or something like that. That's a high praise from Gary. So we really appreciate it. And yeah, we're just really excited. This is a great community. We love it over here. Love everybody that's made their way over to CryptoLink from here. So it's really made sense from the get-go to be on Gauss. And so no, we're super pumped. Very, very pumped. And I think that, what you're doing, Gary, by incentivizing some of these bridge miners and the CCC NFTs, I mean, it strengthens the partnership and it strengthens the bond between the communities. So I'm really excited to see how we do when those NFTs drop. And I think those bridge miners will probably go fairly quickly as well. So I know we already have a few people eyeing them, but anybody that's interested in bridge miners as well, you can just reach out to Cletus or I or Atlas or anybody in our Discord at any time.
Yeah. Did you guys add your Discord link to your bios? Did that happen?
I've always had it. We just got to get Atlas up to speed on that one.
He did it. I'm looking right now. He did it.
Okay. All right. Good. And then it looks like Hash has our website. Hash, throw the Discord in there as well if you're listening, bro. That'd be awesome. Yeah, Gary, I saw you were letting Atlas rip on that one a little bit. That was valid. Yeah. I should have been the one ripping him for that. So you covered my butt on that one.
There was one thing or a couple things I wanted to add about those NFTs. The image that Cletus dropped, that first discount, that's for, like, just to reiterate or be very clear, that's for Iron NFT holders. So if you have an Iron NFT and you want to pick up Cosmonauts, you get a $50 discount and you get an extra 150 gang on top of it. And then we'll be doing the giveaway of 10 NFTs, just random airdrop, most likely, to Iron holders. And then everyone will get 100 gang for the next 50. So just wanted to clarify that. And then I also wanted to say, since this is such a close relationship, something else we're going to be doing different with Gauss and CryptoLink that they haven't been able to do yet with other chains is we're launching a not insignificant gang paper liquidity pool, which I don't think that's been dropped. That has been mentioned.
It's a big Friday here. This is.
Yeah, I don't think that has been mentioned. But yeah, so that liquidity pool, it's going to be the largest liquidity pool that we're going to have at the time of launch, where that paper is going to be paired up with gang, where that liquidity pool is what we're looking to see around. I don't know what some of our figures are, Gary.
So it's 5 million paper, and I don't want to give the pairing away yet. Don't want to talk about
fair. That's alpha we drop.
Don't want to announce that part, but yeah, we'll be pairing sufficient gang with paper at the time of launching that liquidity pool. So yeah, also I noticed, congrats on, you guys have 1,125,000 and change in total value in the ecosystem thus far. So congrats on that one.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really just kind of, it happened recently, and
it's been a wild month.
It's been a very, very wild month. We've been doing an AMA pretty much every single day for the past week, and it's gonna be next week too. And it's once things start to pick up, it's a lot, but you start to see it's a snowball effect really happening, and we're very excited about it and happy to be able to hit that milestone.
Yeah. Looking forward to having everything Gauss launched and being on the same track. I know our community's been
time, brother.
Yeah, I know everyone's been chomping at the bit, but there's the right way to do things, and then there's everything else. And that's another thing I appreciate about CryptoLink. It's not the easy path, that's for certain.
No, and you really make a great point there. We feel that 100%. You know how development goes. We know how development goes. There's no point in promising a date or anything like that, because again, development can go in weird ways. So you just gotta, bootstrap it, tough it out, and wait until the tech is right and the time's right, because you can't release something that's unfinished. It's just not, that would be a travesty, and especially with what we're doing, it's fully decentralized. So if Atlas was to release something that wasn't fully ready, that could be catastrophic. So very, very important that we get it right. Very important that you guys get it right. Everybody is on the same page there. So yeah, we're just, I think we're all taking our time, making sure that it's done the right way. But I don't know if there's another way to do it.
I mean, there are ways to do it that we've seen plenty of others,
yeah. I don't know if there's another proper way to do it.
Yeah, there certainly are, just not the way we're going about it. But yeah, this is all super exciting. I'm glad we've been talking about doing the AMA as we were getting closer to launch and as you guys were rolling things out. So I'm really glad that we're, finally able to drop so much of this that we've been talking about for months and we've been planning for months. It's pretty damn awesome.
I was going to ask, how many conversations in weeks or months has this been going on? But yeah, there's so much here. So it has been months.
Yeah.
Oh, man. When did we have our first meeting, Gary? October?
September, October, I think. Was it?
Yeah, it might have been earlier than that.
It may have been.
I mean, it was a
long
time.
It was a while ago. Yeah.
And it's been a lot. Countless meetings, because again, it's about getting it right, making sure that the deal was right, making sure that it worked for both parties, making sure that we were the right solution for Gauss too, right? I mean, that had to be
which is sense. Yeah, because Austin and I talked a ton early on and had been talking for a year and a half about bridges. And, you know, we looked at plenty of other solutions. We met with some other solutions, and none of them were really giving us warm and fuzzies, right? And I forget even how it came across that might have been somebody in our community that connected us, or I'm not certain. I don't remember how that first meeting got set up.
I want to say it was probably, and this is, I don't know for sure, but my gut always tells me this because these guys are like the kings of networkers right now in our corner. I want to say it was the Cardinal guys. Yeah,
it probably
I want to say somewhere along the line it was Cardinals. Cyril was probably mixed in there somewhere. Yeah, it was between the two parties there. It was somebody in there that made that happen. So a little shout out to the Cardinal guys and Cyril, whoever it was. We thank you because it's worked out very well for both of us.
It's really funny that Cyril's name gets brought up. I just happened while we're talking, you know, I check emails and Twitter and all that stuff. My most recent email was something Cyril and our team are working on right now.
Yep, there you go. That man is everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's one of our advisors. He's, you know, been working with our curation team very closely, and awesome individual.
Oh, great dude. Really good head on his shoulders. And we are very, very happy and proud that we can call him an advisor to us as well. We do our consulting with KC Consulting. He's absolutely phenomenal. I know obviously you know that. So no, that's been a great relationship. But yeah, that's definitely how that came about. And then it was just months of meetings and making sure it was right, making sure the tech was right. I mean, and props to you too, Gary, because you stuck with us through quite a few changes as well. I mean, we when we first met to now, I think, you know, it looks quite a bit different in terms of what we were going to do. So, you know, sticking with it and building the partnership out. And geez, now we're not long from launch here. I mean, obviously, I know we're both chomping at the bit. So I hope everyone's ready and excited, man, because this is going to be a fun one.
You know, one thing we haven't talked about that's unique with you guys, or that I think is pretty damn cool, and we're still exploring how some of this is going to work. By the way, just like full disclosure for anyone listening now or later, we're still exploring things with CryptoLink, right? Being the only curated blockchain in the roster of those that work with any to any, how will it look bringing in NFTs or porting out NFTs, you know? But I think that's a really cool piece of your technology that I don't think you've touched on yet, if you want to talk about that part. Because you've talked about tokens, and people tend to think just tokens, not, you know, ERC 721 or 1155 or the broad others.
For sure. Yeah. Well, Atlas has developed an ERC 721 bridgeable extension that is compatible with our cross-chain infrastructure, where anyone can bring their NFTs cross-chain. So if anyone has an NFT collection, or I mean, we also do it for tokens, but in this case for NFTs, if they want to have a cross-chain NFT collection, they can do that. They can do that right now and use that ERC 721 bridgeable extension to make those NFTs cross-chain. Now, it also doesn't matter if the NFT collection is already minted or if it's not minted, because what we can do is if an NFT collection is minted already, we would just wrap it on that source chain, and then through smart contracts, the other chains that are being used, those other chains would use that ERC 721 bridgeable extension. And then once it goes back to that main chain, then it would unlock the NFT and have that there. But for new NFT launches that are you know, just coming up, the entire smart contracts through every single chain can use this ERC 721 bridgeable extension, where the NFT can be burnt and minted on whatever chain and freely flow from chain to chain as fast as the blockchain will go. So as we were saying before, our cross-chain speeds are between, you know, it really depends on the blockchain, but some are as fast as 3 seconds and some are a little bit slower to the 30-second range. But now everyone can have yeah, but like now the bottom line is that anyone can bring their NFT collection cross-chain through us, and that can pass through any ecosystem, and we're happy to extend that to the Gauss ecosystem. And of course, we're working together to make sure that in terms of security for Gauss with the curation process, that all that is all in standard and all in lockstep with what the philosophy is.
Yep. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to continuing to build this and exploring the relationship. And I think it's exciting too that we get to have this sort of really cool, mutually beneficial relationship. If we were just to say, yeah, we can work with any Danny and whatever, yeah, we can do this other stuff and kind of not be ultra engaged, I feel like that would be disingenuous, especially with the benefits of building with other newer tech startups. Like, we get to build together. We get to do cool shit together. So definitely awesome and cool and exciting stuff.
And I think it's worth adding, it's so awesome that it's being done out in the open here. Looking at partnerships on paper, tweets or graphics is cool, but to not only see what you guys are doing and planning, but hear it in your voice and just kind of being able to just be open with everyone, with both communities, and just coming together is a whole different layer of partnership. So I really cool to read between the lines, and it just magnifies how special it is. So
No
really
doubt.
appreciate you guys getting together.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, I think we found a common ground between our team and Gary and your team. Between partnership shouldn't just be like some promotional collaboration on Twitter or something like that. The word partnership has kind of gotten watered down as well in this blockchain space, which is weird because partnership is a big word in the real business world. So we wanted to take a serious approach to a partnership. And I think if CryptoLink's partnering with anybody, it's a serious ordeal. It's thought out. There's a plan. Most of the times there's signed documents and things like that. And I know Gary feels the same way. And I think the only way to make that happen is to work in stride with each other. Just one text away, essentially, right? And we can get on the call or get on the phone with each other if we need to in an instant, because X, Y, and Z pertaining to the partnership. So no, it's been really great working with you guys and working with Gary. And the cool thing is it's now, like I said, we talk about things more than just the CryptoLink Gauss relationship. We'll talk about the blockchain space, where it's at, just general topics. So we built a great relationship between the two projects, and frankly, a friendship between the teams, which I think is important if you're going to be partnering. You got to want to work with the other people. You got to like them. Otherwise, it's going to make for a really uncomfortable partner.
Agreed. Yeah. Well, I mean, we've talked about startup fundraising and all sorts of other,
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I talked to you or asked you questions, and you talked my ear off for an hour about fundraising because I'm new to it, right? So I had something to learn from you, that kind of pertained to our partnership in a way, but in another way, it was more just, passing knowledge along. And that's also what partnerships are all about too. So I think it's really important that it's a lot deeper than just, surface level, throwing a graphic around or something like that. It's definitely a partnership, and it's beneficial to both parties. And I think, we both learned a lot in the process.
Yep. So I must ask you a question.
Good one.
When are we going to have the mustache versus beard competition at some point?
You're going to have to, I guess. Yeah, I guess we're team mustache and your team beard over there. So we'll have to do something fun relating to that. We'll have to come up with something, I guess. That's hilarious.
I love that you guys, you were on camera for that I got to see the mustaches. It was great.
Yeah, I didn't just throw a mustache on my icon to make me look more manly or something. I actually had one. I didn't do Cletus service, so I feel like when I made Cletus's icon, he didn't have the mustache, and I think he's
I just had a little bit of facial hair, but I decided to go ahead and grow that one out.
Right. Yeah, for anybody that doesn't know what we're referencing, if you haven't seen it and you do want to know what Cletus and I look like, and listen to another lengthy AMA on James Pelton's channel. We did live AMA.
I posted screenshots in stage 2. Yeah,
there we go.
I must ask you a question. That's when I hit the enter key. I've been preparing this one. I wanted to do it.
I feel like Panda. I don't know if I've been more hurt by a friendly comment. A mustache without a beard is like a pizza without cheese. That is brutal.
Yeah, that's not.
Oh
That's
man.
not fair. And with the fighting words.
Yeah, that's tough, Panda. That's real tough. Oh man, at least we have a good project, a good product. Thank you, Atlas, for coding something cool so my mustache can be slightly acceptable to the people. Because yeah, that's hilarious, man. Yeah, I guess that was quite the surprise to everybody. I guess we got the question of are you guys related? And I guess if anyone's wondering, no, we are not actually related. We were roommates in college, but we are not related by blood. So in a weird way, we know each other very well, but we are not related.
Yeah, we've had to like wake each other up for class, like the alarms
Mostly
going
he
off.
waking and making me up for class, but yeah.
Well, that's awesome. It's all awesome. I can't wait. We have another AMA with you guys. What in
Yes, what
4 days?
The
on your
31st,
Discord? Yeah, next
the-
Tuesday.
Rob's got it.
2:30
Yes.
Eastern time, CryptoLink Discord. So that puts us at Tuesday, 2:30, and we'll definitely send out some comms and some announcements. But if it's anything like this, don't miss it.
Well, are we gonna? That's actually a great question. Are we gonna like redrop the alpha for your community? We kind of dropped a lot of it here, or I think all of it that we can drop at the moment.
Yeah, like we can hold off on making any like public announcements until after that AMA. I will say, knowing specifically in Ferret and Lamp, it's probably already dropped in our general chat. But no, we can drop that, and then maybe something else comes up in between then that we can also talk about. But if not, there's plenty of our community that didn't make it over here today. So yeah, we can rehash all of that, I'm sure. And we have some loyal people in here. I'm sure we will see Lamp and Ferret yet again and some other faces as well. So.
Right. I see Lamp has a question. There was 120,000 gang for the bridge miners, and it's likely going to be for the first 3 or 4. We might increase it after that. So they're bridge miners, as you're familiar. Do you want to drop that image in our chat too? The tiers
have
of bridge mining?
Yeah.
Oh, please. Yeah. Could you have
Yeah,
that?
let me go ahead and
Okay.
and release that.
Yeah, so their first 2 are 10,000 a piece, I believe. The next 2 are 25,000 a piece.
Yep.
And that's what we're looking to target to help get those moved pretty quick. We're allocating that 120,000 gang to those, right? If we end up getting a bunch more interest in miners, it's worth it for us, for Gauss, to incentivize those miners, to go pretty quickly. Because like I said before, that's providing liquidity to the ecosystem. So
Oh no, I think Atlas just dropped something in stage Q&A that is singing. Geez, Atlas, why do you have to do this here?
But yeah, so at 4 miners, that would be what, 2,500 gang per miner, if there were 4 of them per month, that is. Just to put that in perspective with your answering questions and stuff, Lamp.
I'm glad you took that because I just got really distracted by what Atlas put in the chat. That's
Yeah,
so ridiculous.
I just my brain was
Atlas.
flattened by that.
Yep. I just fried every.
I can't tell you how many times during this I've gone to hit the love button like I'm on a Twitter space. Way too many for comfort.
Yeah, I know, man. It's like I'm having a hard time now discerning between the two. I will ask you that. I know we're running up on some time, so I don't want to take up everyone's time too much. But I do want to ask you guys, I guess Rob and Gary, both of you guys, what's your take on that? Twitter Spaces or Discord AMA stages? What's the future? Where are we going? And should we just migrate? How do we do this?
So I think in the future, and I've said this to our team before, that we'll likely do cross-channel things. So we'll figure out a way. I forget the software, but, do it in Discord and have it go over to Twitter Spaces, and you have mods sitting in both and whatnot. I think that's the right way to do it. They both have their pros and cons. Discord is definitely more engaging because you have a channel or multiple channels. You can post images. You can have a conversation with listeners that aren't on stage. Twitter Spaces, they try to relegate that to tweets. And I think it just gets lost in there. And then you also have the problem that you can only hop on stage or speak from a phone, which is
That is a major issue on that Twitter Spaces end, because I can't tell you how much I like sitting at my computer and looking at, the whole screens I got, and, just kind of comfortable there, and able to, be able to effectively articulate and look at different things at the same time to, if someone's like, hey, well, drop this link in here. It's like, okay, well, easy. Click, drag, drop. But on a Twitter space, you got to have your phone out, and it's kind of hard to see like who's all talking to, because like, you're looking at your phone, and you gotta like make sure it's all
Then you
right.
gotta
You
be
have
able
a
to
good microphone.
put your phone. Yeah, I was gonna say you got to put your phone in the right position. So if you don't want to hold it the whole time, it better be sitting somewhere that you can talk into it. Yeah, that is a major. That's the biggest barrier I think right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors. I mean, in short, Gary hit it on the head. The answer is always both, if you can, because there's, we've had some good spaces where we've had a lot of new people enter, our world, because they just kind of stumbled into the space because of the topic and the algorithm, and people that, if someone with a decent following is on stage talking, like, that pushes it out to a lot more people. So there's a lot of value in that. The mobile only thing sucks. To have to siphon through tweets is kind of a pain. But yeah, if with that said, like, you get a lot more from hearing someone's voice if they're willing, and a lot of people, for what a magnitude of reasons, don't want to come up on stage and talk like this, and that's the only way to really get someone on a Twitter space. But with that said, it's the connection's a little bit more intimate, for lack of a better word. So for the time being, we're doing both. We had a space last night that didn't get pushed out and wasn't well attended, but the conversation was awesome, and we're doing this one in here today, so we're just going to play in both and try to get better at both.
Well, that's something else I think with either of them, right? You build over time. It's about consistency of doing a thing. If we were to be upset that you only have X number of listeners or whatever, or like, oh man, we didn't get even 100 people or whatever, it takes time. Anything worth doing takes time.
100%.
I agree. But yeah, I mean, this was awesome, and we will definitely get the content, and if not, we chop it up on the 31st and make sure we document all of this amazing journey and relationship, partnership, and alpha.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'll be speaking with you guys in about 45 minutes again.
Yes, yep, absolutely. With more alpha. Woo! No, that'd be great. Absolutely. So we'll have you guys back, and it'll be awesome. Everyone show up. Everyone, if you're not in our Discord, also pop on over there. Join in. If you want to try the bridge and you haven't, message Cletus or I. We'll send you some free paper, whatever.
Oh, I can't say the specifics, but I can say that I'll be telling you about an exchange that we just had another meeting with today, talking about a token sale and listing for Gauss.
Oh.
Cool stuff.
Oh, hint, hint, wink, wink to everybody. How about that? There you go.
Yep. It's not huge. It's not like a huge exchange yet, but it is pretty cool shit. And they're a legitimate, multi-licensed exchange, all sorts of stuff. So cool stuff.
Oh,
get to talk more about that and other stuff during our call. I like having these calls, by the way, because we don't drop pre-alpha stuff to the community, right? We don't drop things that we haven't decided yet or haven't been signed or whatever. But being able to have conversations with our friends and partners and whatnot who have NDAs about the specifics, because we've told you about some of the brands that we've been talking with, I believe. Mm-hmm. And like all that stuff's really cool and exciting, and I wish I could talk about it publicly.
Yeah, I know. We feel you. That's why that's why good, solid partnerships that mean something are important, because again, it's not just collaboration, but sometimes you just have to tell people about stuff. I mean, we do that with you. We do it with Cardinal. It's like, and also there's plenty of things that you'd like to get the general community's idea on, or what another party's idea would be on your idea, but you also don't want to release it to the community because you don't want people to take it the wrong way and assume that it's going to happen or something like that. So no, again, the importance of partnerships.
And I think there's something else, and I know we just keep talking, but there's, just as an interesting note, you know stuff about us. We know stuff about you. As much as I've wanted, I was just talking with one of my friends about this the other day because I wasn't telling them, like they're a friend, personal friend. I was like, yeah, we have a lot of cool stuff going on, blah, blah, blah. Talked about CryptoLink and like, yeah, I wish I would have or could have bought paper. If I were a less ethical individual, it's something I would have done because I have insider information. But that's not, in my opinion, wouldn't have been right. Does that make sense?
Yes, and that is something as a project team you have to internally decide if you're going to be moral or immoral about those things. Absolutely, 100%. And I agree with you. We've had opportunities to do the same, and you leave it to the community. Our payday comes when CryptoLink succeeds. That is a great point though, because we are privy. Any executive team that has partnerships is privy to alpha information that could definitely make you some money. I'm sure, absolutely. But you don't ever act on that stuff until it's public to the community,
right?
Not just for legal, because that's
right. It's
immoral.
not just legal; it is literally immoral, unethical, and I don't see the other side of the argument. Right? Like we're all sitting here playing chess. We're in it for a longer game. We're not playing checkers or making, one or two quick moves. It's just really interesting because I think even Ferret and I talked about this in our holders VC within the last few days. Like, because every day he's like, paper's at this price. And I'm like, yep. Because you're at 4-ish cents right now, I think. And
I think we dipped. We're like 3.9 right now is where we're at. I think.
Yeah. But I made this decision back when paper was less than 0.4 of a cent, right? Knowing what you and what CryptoLink and what CryptoLink and Gauss have planned, I was like, yep, I could just throw a few $1,000 at it and wait, but didn't because it'd be wrong.
Yeah, no doubt. That is something that you definitely, it's something that I'm sure people know in the back of their heads that, teams are privy to alpha information, but I don't know if people think about it from that aspect that, there could be a lot more, like you said, insider trading. And that's why it's good to work with solid partners. I got Ferret so Ferret has this special Ferret project, he likes to call it right now, that's doing very well for Ferret. And, again, it involves CryptoLink, and, he's always gloating about it in general chat. So I got him to spill the beans to me, but, he told me, and it's like, oh, that's sweet, man. I'm happy for Ferret that he found a way to do what he was doing, and he's getting good returns on it. And I'm like, okay, I'm no interest in getting involved in that. It's like, hey, good for you, dude. Go take it and run with it. Right. It's also the same reason. This gets into the philosophy behind why Atlas really doesn't want to code an arbitrage bot for the protocol for CryptoLink. We could do all of our own arbitrage, and that could all go right back into the treasury, but he'd rather give it to the and why not?
Right.
The community does a really good job at it anyways. So, we found a really good system to make it sustainable. So give it to the community, and the one thing Cardinal House keeps preaching that I think they're 100% right on is the more you give to the community and the less you take for yourself, the greater your reach will get. And everybody knows in any industry, it's not just because we're a DAX, right? And literally volume drives us, but for anything, right? It's the volume and the spread of your reach will always yield you higher returns than trying, like you said, playing checkers and making quick moves.
Right. Yeah. It's just, again, doing shit the right way. And that's who we like working with. That's, one of the reasons we get along.
No, absolutely, brother. Absolutely. So, no, I think this has been phenomenal, and we're excited to have you over to our place. Everybody, you just kind of got a glimpse of what it's like when we chat privately, because we will just chat. And sometimes we have to give ourselves a hard stop because it will go for a very long time sometimes. But no, it's all good conversation, and it's all intellectually stimulating. So that's good. But thank you to everybody for showing up. This is phenomenal. And like I said, if you're not in our Discord, pop on by, join the community, hang out, ask about Gauss bridge miners if you're interested. Talk to Gary about it. Talk to us about it. Gary will probably just pass you on to us, but that's fine. He can patch you directly to us. Yeah, Cletus, you got any final words?
No, not really. We have the Gauss AMA coming up here on the 31st at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So those of you guys, make sure to tune in for that. Of course, join both of our, you're already in this Discord, but join the CryptoLink Discord. And if you haven't already, follow both of us on Twitter. But yeah, guys, it was a great chat. We dropped a lot of alpha today, and it was very, very, very exciting with the bridge miners, with the NFTs, everything that we got going on. So I'm looking forward to our next chat.
Absolutely. It was great meeting you guys. And yeah, you definitely made my job easy with all this great stuff. So looking forward to this being the first of many crossover experiences between the two communities. Really love what you're doing. Thank you for educating everyone listening.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, guys. Pleasure. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. Follow CryptoLink, Discord, get in the Discord, follow them on Twitter, all the things. All right, everyone have a great day.
You as well. Thanks again.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.